Hi. Welcome to the world of PHsPeed. My name is Rosie, and I am happy to introduce you to the world of PHsPeed. If you are new to PHsPeed, then I invite you to register for one of our free webinars. You find them on our website. In this video, I will explain the architecture of PHsPeed in more detail. I will explain the application flow, and the creation and the use of events. Overall, this video will give you more insight and will help you to understand the concepts of PHsPeed better. When you create an application in a project, then this application is called the controller application. You can have more than one controller applications in a project. In more simple words, a controller application in PHsPeed is an application that you can execute from the browser. The controller application takes care of all requests that comes from the client. The components on the form are generated as PHP classes that are maintained from within the controller application. You can easily distinguish the controller applications from the components by looking at the folder structure. Controller applications are generated in the project root, the components in the libs folder. When you start a PHsPeed application, then PHsPeed builds your web form in two steps. The first step is initiated by the end user by entering the URL of the desired function, or select a link in the menu or other object. When the controller starts, it will start creating all the components that are on the form. While creating, the components themselves will try to obtain their value by looking at the parameters that were passed, the value from the session, or a database table. The controller app will also retrieve the theme and templates, and will generate a basic HTML page that contains all necessary placeholders that will be replaced by objects retrieved in the second step. The HTML page is received by the web browser, which will inhibit an AJAX request to get the form detail data. This AJAX request is the second step in the form generating process. Again, the components will be created, but this time they will be asked to render their values. The result is a JSON formatted message with pieces of HTML code that will replace the placeholder div on the main form. This render step is important as it allows you as the developer to maintain properties of the components in PHP. It is eminent in the responsive and dynamic use of the components. The AJAX step is sometimes repeated due to components that perform their own rendering or require additional rendering, like the database grid component. The easiest way to see what the two-step approach does is by using the debugger. The debugger in PHsPeed is an Xdebug client. When I start the application in debugging mode, then the first request is a standard HTML request. In the generated code, there are lines of PHP that are required to communicate with the IDE. These lines will be deleted when you promote the code for production, which I discuss in another video. As you can see, the controller application is called for the second time. This time the application will handle the AJAX request. The kind of request can be read on the right upper corner of the form. If you generate your code, then PHsPeed will make use of a standard application flow. PHsPeed offers a simple interface to inject your custom code into PHsPeed based upon logical moments, called events. An event can be an automated event, like the moment the component gets created, or a user event, like a click on a button. PHsPeed generates a small PHP module in which you can add your code to change your application's behavior. Several events get fired. First, every component will trigger an onCreate event. This event can be used to perform all kinds of initializations. As you cannot be sure if other components are already created, you should not access other components' properties in this event. Instead, use the onActivate event. Once all components are created, then all components will trigger an onActivate event. As all components are created, you can access these. The onActivate event is not suitable if you need to rely on the values of database components, as these sometimes rely on master detail relationships, which will be performed once the form gets focus. If you need to be sure that the component is fully set up with the correct data, then use the onBeforeRender event. Now the events are explained, I will show you how to create an AJAX event that will change the label's value. In general, user events that can be used as an AJAX event have a JavaScript and a PHP event of the same name. You need both to get this working. Regarding the JavaScript event, you need to assign it, not write it. In the PHP event, I'll set the value and generate it. As you can see, I use a $$ as a placeholder for the full variable. This is a short notation for the real class name. If you write events and need to access your form objects, you will often use the $$ notation. Just keep in mind that it is not standard PHP. If you use the $$ notation, then PHsPeed will add the whole qualification, as you can see at the generated code. If you are new to PHP, you will notice that you access objects properties using an arrow between the object name and the variable. In this video, I have shown you the principles of the PHsPeed architecture, the application flow, and the use of events. In other videos, I explain other details of this low-code platform. I hope to see you there. Thank you for your attention.